Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tujayamudiriye. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavatu Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, second chapter, The Lord in the Heart, text number 4 onwards. So in text number 3, Shukdev Goswami is saying that for this reason means remembering the Supreme Lord, chanting his name or performing devotion service is the only goal of life. So Shukdev Goswami is saying, for this reason, the enlightened person should endeavor only for the minimum necessities of life, while in the world of names. He should be intelligently fixed and never endeavor for unwanted things, being competent to perceive practically that all such endeavors are merely hard labor for nothing. Because in the end, we're going to leave anything material that we have acquired in this life. And now he even goes a little bit further. The idea is to minimize our needs. Text 4. Satyam kshito hi kim kashipo prayasa baho swasiddhe yupabarhane kim satyanjalo kim purdhanna patrya digval kalado satikim dukulaha. When there are ample earthly flats to lie on, what's the necessity of cots and beds? When one can use his own arms, what's the necessity of a pillow? When one can use the palms of his hands, what's the necessity of varieties of utensils? When there is ample covering of the skins of the trees, what's the necessity of clothing? Of course, this is from Shukdev Goswami's standard. He's talking. But he's preaching to Parikshit Maharaj. So idea basically is to really minimize the needs and spend more and more time in chanting and hearing and remembering the Lord. That's the whole idea. Just like now, before we go on the purport, there was one sage. I'm forgetting his name, either Maduk Muni or some Muni, and somehow he got the blessing that he will live for a long time. How long a time? That every hair of his body, every hair follicle of his body, when all the hair fall down, then he will die. And one hair will fall down after 1 day of Brahma. So means he had very, very long life. 1 day of Brahma, which means 1,000 Chaturyugas, and that long was his night. So one hair will fall down in 1 day of Brahma. And when all the hair on his body fall down, and that's when he's going to die. So, and he was sitting at the bank of Ganges and he was chanting. And he hadn't even made a hut for himself. So his disciples, they went to him. They said, Maharaj, at least you sit down in the hut and chant because it's too hot outside. And you know what he said? He said, I don't have time to waste in making a hut. I cannot waste time in making a hut. Let me just sit down and chant because I don't have too much time. And how long he was going to live, it's amazing. We hardly live for whatever. And out of that, when we get to 7th canto and Prahlad Maharaj explains Um, out of 24 hours, 8 hours are gone in sleeping and preparing to sleep and this and that, whatever time is gone. Left her 16 hours. Out of that, if somebody is having a full-time job, out of that we will spend at least 10 hours, 11 hours in commuting and taking care of job duties. So 10, 11 hours, 10, 11 hours, 11 and 8, 19. And out of that, okay, cooking and eating and taking care of other things, maybe another 2, 3 hours, 22 hours are gone. So only 2 hours are left. And out of that also, how much time really we can spend in chanting and hearing about Krishna, remembering Krishna? It's hardly any time left. So because we haven't set the priorities right, that's all. And this is a Shukdev Goswami. So I think Vanna Mataji posted a question. What verse? It is second canto, second chapter, fourth verse we are discussing. So purport: the necessities of life for the protection and comfort of the body must not be unnecessarily increased. Human energy is spoiled in a vain search after such illusory happiness. If one is able to lie down on the floor, then why should one endeavor to get a good bedstead or soft cushion to lie on? If one can rest without any pillow and make use of the soft arms endowed by nature, there is no necessity of searching after a pillow. If we make a study of the general life of the animals, we can see that they have no intelligence for building big houses, furniture, and other household paraphernalia. And yet they maintain a healthy life by lying down on the open land. They do not know how to cook or prepare foodstuff, yet they still live healthy lives more easily than the human beings. So this problem, that problem, because they live naturally according to the nature given to girls without any culture, education, and sense of morality. And intelligence, poetry, and philosophy. In such a way, he can further progressive march civilization is that the quality of human life, which is far superior to that of animals, should simply be utilized for self-realization. Advancement of human civilization must be towards the goal of establishing our lost relationship with God, which is not possible in any form of life other than the human. One must realize the nullity of the material phenomena, considering it a passing phantasmagoria, and must endeavor to make a solution to the miseries of life. Self-complacence with a polished type of animal civilization geared to sense gratification is delusion. Self-complacence with a polished type of animal civilization. So why polished type of animal civilization? Animal civilization means 4 activities: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And polished type of animal civilization means we do all those 4 activities, but in a very nice, highly cultured, polished way. But basically, they're just 4 activities: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So self-complacence with the polished type of animal civilization geared to sense gratification is delusion, and such a civilization is not worthy of the name. In pursuit of such false activities, a human being is in the clutches of Maya or illusion. So, in pursuit of such false activities, and in this so-called animal civilization, so now there comes in people say, oh, I have a taste for art and science and this or that. Okay, that's a little bit more polished. According to Bhagavatam, they're just a little bit more polished animal, and that's it. There's nothing else. The point is, unless and until one utilizes this human form of life, this higher consciousness, the higher intelligence, in the service of Krishna, in understanding one's relationship with Krishna and in developing that relationship, what's the use? Ultimately, what's the use of, even if I'm a very good art critique, or I have good in, okay, that's a mode of goodness. So mode of goodness is considered as the shackles of gold. Mode of passion is considered a shackle of silver. And mode of ignorance are considered shackles of iron. So even if somebody is bound by the shackles of gold, he's still bound. He's not free. He's not liberated. I mean, nothing wrong in somebody if somebody has an inclination or attachment to fine arts, but it's not the best thing to do. If somebody can chant nicely, so he is much better than a person who is appreciating parties. And such a civilization is not worthy of the name. Means it should not be called a civilization. In pursuit of such false activities, a human being is in the clutches of Maya. In the days of living in palatial buildings, furnished with good furniture and so-called amenities of life. They used to live in huts and groves and sit on the flat ground, and yet they have left immense treasure, high knowledge, ministers of state, but they were able to leave behind them immense writings of transcendental knowledge while residing only for one night underneath one tree. They did not live even 2 nights under the same tree, and what to speak of well-furnished rooms with modern amenities. I mean, after meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they gave up that voluntarily retirement. Of course, Nawab wasn't happy, but still they said, we're not going to come. You know how much money they had? They had a full boat of gold coins. That much had Vaishnavas. So the rest 50%, 50% of means 25% of the total, they gave to their relatives. And the rest 25% they kept for emergency purpose. That much money they had. And they gave up everything. If when we study Goswami Ashtakam, they gave, like, it's very abominable. All this position, all the money and all the prestige, all the honor they had, they just gave it up. Because They wanted to be with Chaitanya. Many times people ask, well, they could have served him while still being in the job, while still like everybody has a different calling. So they deemed it fit for Mahaprabhu also that Vrindavan writing that they used to reside under trees in Vrindavan. And they would not even stay under the tree twice because they might get comfortable under the tree and they might get attached. They just didn't want any attachment. Here they had left the palatial building. If we ever get a chance to go to Ramkheli, where they used to live, and it is huge, made Giri Govardhan, different replicas of different places of pastimes of Krishna. So they could remember Krishna while living, while serving his peace. And they left immense so helpful for progressive civilization. Rather, they are detrimental to such progressive life. In the four orders, unities, and sufficient directions for a happy termination of the progressive life. And the sincere followers are advised to extend of life. If one is not accustomed to abiding by the life of renunciation and self-abnegation from the beginning, one should try to get into the habit at a later stage of life as recommended by Srila Shukdev Goswami. That will help one to achieve the desired success. But again, the idea is not to remain that attached to Krishna. So chanting of Krishna's name, remembering of Krishna. And when this propensity becomes stronger and stronger, automatically there will be detachment from the material affinities. Automatically. It's automatically this material entanglements, they keep on going away slowly, 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 slowly. Because one will not get any pleasure in say, buying new clothes, new jewelry, or a bigger car, or a bigger house, or he or she is. In fact, having a bigger house or a bigger car would be like a burden. Who's going to clean this house, or who's going to maintain this car, and who's going to do that? It's a wastage of time. After a while, a person starts feeling like that. But that will happen only when gets attached to Krishna's chanting of Krishna's name, serving Krishna, hearing about Krishna. So that's the only remedy actually. And Shukdev Goswami further says, text 5. Chirani kim pathina santi dishanti bhiksham nevangripa parbrita sarito api ashushyan ruddha guha kim titovati no prasannana kasmat bhajanti kavyo dhano dhan durmadandhan. Are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms in charity? Do the rivers being dried up no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the Almighty Lord not protect the fully surrendered souls? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth? So, another standard, or further on, he's speaking of. The renounced order of life is never meant for begging or living at the cost of others as a parasite. According to the dictionary, a parasite or a sycophant who lives at the cost of society without making any contribution to that society. The renounced order is meant for controlling something substantial to society. Renounced order is meant for contributing something substantial to society and not depending on the earnings of the householders. On the contrary, the acceptance of alms from the householders by the bona fide mendicant is an opportunity afforded by the saint for the tangible benefit of the donor. In the Sanatan Dharma institution, alms giving to the mendicant is part of a householder's duty. And it's advised in the scriptures that the householders should treat the mendicants family children being asked. Pseudo-mendicants, therefore, should not take advantage of the charitable disposition of the faithful householders. The first duty of a person in the renounced order of life is to contribute some literary work for the benefit of the human being in order to give him realized direction towards self-realization. So Prabhupada is comparing the duties of householders versus the renounced order, people in the renounced order of life. Among the other duties in the renounced order of life of Srila Sanatana, Srila Rupananda Goswami of Vrindavan, foremost duty discharged by them was to hold learned discourses among themselves at Sevakunj, Vrindavan. The spot where Sri Radha Damodar temple was established by Srila Jiva Goswami and where the actual Samadhi tombs of Srila Guru Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami are laid. So the people of the renounced order of life, their job was not just to beg chapatis and eat and then sleep. No. Idea was to go and beg, but at the same time, enlighten the householders. And among themselves also, hold discourses of the Krishna Katha among themselves. For the benefit of all in the human society, they left behind them immense literatures of transcendental importance. Similarly, all the acharyas who voluntarily accepted the renounced order of life aimed at benefiting human society and not at all living a comfortable or irresponsible life at the cost of others. So similarly, like yesterday, we were discussing about he traveled and preached and expanded the society, Gaudiya Math. He established books he wrote, Harmonist magazine, he wrote the articles in. But he just preached and preached and preached and preached. However, those who cannot give any contribution should not go to the householders for food. For such mendicants, asking bread from the householders are an insult to the highest order. Shukdev Goswami gave this warning, especially for those mendicants who adopt this line of profession to solve their economic problems. Of course, these days, it's Kali Yuga, so we have so many so-called sadhus. They just roam around and make money, and then they go to their ashram and they live very comfortable lives. Such mendicants are abundant in the age of Kali. When a man becomes mendicant, willfully or by circumstances, he must be of firm faith and conviction that the Supreme Lord is the maintainer of all living beings everywhere in the universe. Why then would he neglect the maintenance of a surrendered soul who is 100% engaged in the service of the Lord? In fact, when Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, and we were discussing the other day, the Krishna said, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam, right? He said that. I preserve what my devotees have and I provide what they lack. So again and again we hear that Krishna's energy, Maya, she tests all the people, and especially the devotees who are trying to make progress on the path of bhakti. So this is our job, to test. But at the same time, Krishna says, I provide what my devotees lack and I preserve what they have. So if Krishna or Krishna's energy can test a devotee can also test Krishna. What's the problem? He can test, okay, Krishna, I'm surrendered to you. You said you will provide, so provide. I'm not going to go. I'm going to sit here and chant. In fact, this was actually it's a long purport. I will not go over it. In fact, this is what happened during one of the pastimes of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. The temple that he had opened in Calcutta, it was a big temple, very rich temple it was. And there were so many sannyasis and brahmacharis, and there were so many rooms, and they were managing the temple. And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, he went out to preach, and after many days he came back, and he saw all the sannyasis, they were slacking off in their sadhana, and they were not going out to preach. So Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj asked them, why, what happened? They said, it's so hard to manage this temple. We need to get money. So we are trying to get money, trying to get funds and to manage the temple. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, okay, tomorrow onwards, nobody go out for funds collection. And we'll all just sit down and chant. Of course, they tried to argue with Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, but Maharaj was very strict and he was a Gurudev. He said, okay, so we'll all sit down and chant. So everybody just sat down and chanted whole day. And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj was saying that the holy name is non-different from Krishna. It will provide everything that we need for the maintenance and the running of the temple. Okay, so first day passed by, nobody came, nobody gave donation. Maharaj said, don't worry, keep on chanting. So next day again, everybody just sat down and chanted whole day. Nothing came. Third day again, they chanted. Now the people around the temple, they started noticing that these sadhus, they don't go out and do any begging. They're just sitting and chanting. They have so much of faith in the holy name. The people themselves, of course, Krishna inspired them. They themselves started coming and bringing. Somebody was bringing rice, somebody was bringing dal and atta and everything. People started bringing. So then all the residents, all the sannyasis, they understood actual power is in the holy name. We should give this holy name to others, and Krishna will provide everything. There cannot be anything lacking. Only thing that is lacking is Krishna consciousness. That's all. And Krishna does provide, and especially this is what Shukdev Goswami is saying, especially for the person who's fully surrendered. He provides to even the animals in the forest. They don't work, they don't have job, they don't have businesses. He provides to the elephant. Elephants eat so much every day. Who provides for him? Krishna. So why won't he provide for a soul who's fully surrendered to him? He will definitely provide. But that faith has to be there. So anyway, so we'll stop here. See anybody has any question or comment.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the question not directly related to the shlokas today, but indirectly, in fact, might sound little weird. Prabhuji, in fact, we have read this many times. Clothes made of tree bark, tree skin. So how did they make? I mean, clothes out of tree bark. Even if they made, was it not wet? How were they kind of wearing it, Prabhuji?
I
It is
don't know.
impossible.
Even Lord Ram, Lakshman, Sita ji, they when they were in the forest, they used to wear clothes made of tree bark. That's all I have heard. But I don't know how they used to make. I'm not that renounced, so I don't know.
Some technology they had, so they kind of weaved with hands. But it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so much fruit bearing trees they had at that time, right? But now we rarely find any fruit bearing trees, but they would eat fruit from trees.
Well, if you go into forest, um, there are there are so many trees. Well, this is how actually during Vanprast, when one takes Vanprast, so basically he goes to all these places of pilgrimage. So he starts getting surrendered and taking shelter of Krishna. So he starts living very natural life. Basically, either do madhukari, go out and beg for food from different houses, or if somebody is in forest, live off of the trees. And again, Krishna will provide. If we are as much as we are surrendered to Krishna, Krishna will provide. Even in the forest, he can provide. What's a big deal for him?
True, Prabhuji.
It's not a big deal. So all we have to do on our part is start taking baby steps towards him. And he will show he's there. He will show he is going to provide. He will take care. And then when our faith becomes stronger and stronger, we can take bigger steps towards him. But the idea is we should start. So anyway, so we will stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.